Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us this afternoon for our webinar with NUSO. We're looking forward to hearing from them today, and we appreciate you taking time out to join us for this. Before we get started, I'm just going to go through a couple of quick quick slides here. General housekeeping items. First of all, this webinar is being recorded, so you'll be able to preview or watch it per se at a future date. Q&A, we will have time for Q&A at the end of this presentation. You can submit your questions by navigating to the Q&A icon that you see on your screen. You'll also receive a copy of the presentation in addition to the recording so that you can refer to that in the future as well. Should you need assistance during today's webinar, you can email webinars@jenny.com. Also, audio should be coming through your computer. If you are having trouble with your slides or anything not advancing, you can try refreshing your browser or using a different one. And with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen and turn things over.
Then we'll share here. All right, we should be good to go on there. All right, great. Well, thank you everybody for joining. My name is Anthony Ruano, Head of Solution Sales here at NUSO. We've also got Phil Stern. I'll let him introduce himself to you all, and then we will go ahead and get started here.
Hey, y'all. My name is Phil Stern. I'm the Partner Program Manager here at NUSO, and excited to be here to talk about some of the great stuff that we bring to the table.
With that being said, we'll go ahead and slide along here. So a little bit about NUSO. We have been in the telecom industry. Oh, there we go. We've been in the telecom industry since about 2008, providing primarily SIP trunking and unified communication services. Throughout the years, we've expanded our offering quite a bit. We spun off to be a sole service provider in 2019, and that's how we formed NUSO. Original company was named SOTEL here out of St. Louis. What we'll talk about today, we'll go through our wheel of fun, which I like to call it, and then we're going to dive into a few other products and services that we have, just a little bit more detail oriented. Of course, if there's anything that you'd like to see in a deeper dive, you can go ahead and reach out to the folks at Jenny, and they can get you together with your account manager, which is Michael Lytle. We can go ahead and set up demos for any of the products that you see today, or if there's any of the ones that we didn't speak about and you want to, we can definitely go ahead and do so. So the first tab we're going to start off on here, and like I said, we're going to go into some detail on a few of these, but our primary offerings, right, which is SIP trunking, unified communications, secure fax, Simply Connect, which is a text messaging platform. Then we have our compliance Connect recorder, which we're going to go through in quite a bit of detail. And then NUSO Connect for Enterprise, which is our contact center offering. Okay, along those lines, there's going to be some different add-ons and additional tools that you can add to any of the offering or any of the services that I mentioned here, and just get a better idea of redundancy and really what sets us apart from other providers that are out there. Secondly, we will speak about our NUSO Bridge product line. So that's going to be our Operator Connect for Microsoft Teams. And then we are also a direct peering partner with Zoom, okay, which again, we'll kind of go through how you can work those into any deals that you have with either Zoom or Microsoft Teams. And then lastly, we're going to discuss about our network as a whole. So what makes us a little bit different than other providers that are out there, we are our own carrier, meaning we are not dependent on anybody else like a bandwidth.com or a Cinch or anybody else to actually acquire phone numbers or to handle our voice traffic, even though there is underlying carriers on the back end. We're going to go through some redundancy options that we've actually built within that carrier network. But by us owning our network, we're able to really start to take advantage of a few different things. The first one I want to talk about, which this is something new that is starting to roll out now, which is called branded calling. Okay, what branded calling is, it's a new reputation kind of management product that's being released from the cell phone companies. Okay. So right now, T-Mobile's on board. Verizon is coming up shortly with it, and then AT&T. And what branded calling does, it actually displays your company's logo as well as a reason for the phone call when you're calling out to when your customers are calling to their customers or you're calling to your customers on their mobile phones. So pretty extensive vetting process with that. If you did anything with the campaign registry within the last 2 years, very similar to that. We're starting to see a lot of excitement with that product. Again, you're calling out, it shows the company's logo as well as the reason for the call. So let's say that you were a car dealership and it's going to show service department on there. So that'll help for the calls to be answered. They're bypassing the spam likely algorithms. And again, just kind of keeping up brand reputation as well with it. We've also got Brand Watch, which is a number scrubber, essentially. So I like to compare it to like a free credit report. It runs every week on all your phone numbers, and it'll let you know where those numbers have been marked as spam, and also the best practices on how to go ahead and dispute those so that you can get off those spam lists. And then lastly, which this is part of any of our voice products, okay, and it's included with everything that we offer, is called NUSO Flex. What that is inbound call redundancy. Sure, especially with the list of folks that are on this call, you've had a customer call you at some point, or you've had the issue and they're saying, I've just got an email from my customers. They're not able to reach us. It's saying that the line's either disconnected or it's giving a fast busy or whatnot. What we were able to do, we own and manage 3 different voice networks. Okay, so at any given time, if there is, let's say, a fiber cut or an issue at a rate center where one of our underlying carriers is, we can actually do an internal port of that phone number to another one of our underlying carriers and keeping those inbound calls flowing. All right. A good example of that was during Hurricane Beryl in Houston. One of the level 3 data centers was completely underwater. We ported internally about 118,000 phone numbers in less than 2 minutes and had voice calls flowing into those numbers when the rest of the industry was pretty much down if they were making calls that were going through that data center. So it's a really powerful thing. We do several million numbers a year on that in the porting because it's something that's constantly happening. It's generally out of your control. Again, fiber cuts, floods, you name it. It could happen. So that's how we're going around those types of disasters for local inbound calling redundancy.
Well, and on that topic, because that real world example of Hurricane Beryl, I was going to bring that up, but just to give you an idea from a number perspective on the impact that NUSO Flex had, we saw roughly over 3.1 million calls actually take place that wouldn't have taken place if we were down without NUSO Flex on our backbone. And that translated to a little over 3.8 million minutes of talk time. So especially in a disaster situation, that is insane to hear. And that was just one of many hurricanes last year and the year before that, because you know how it is every year it happens. So.
All right. So first fun slide we're going to talk about today, we're going to go into SIP trunking. As I mentioned, we do have UCaaS offerings. You're probably so bored about hearing about UCaaS offerings. So we're going to have some fun talk about SIP trunking today, right? Which is really exciting stuff. Again, we've built some things into the network. We're very big on redundancy, not only for ourselves, but for our partners as well as customers. So kind of going on the scalability side, with a SIP trunk, it's a lot easier than if somebody had a POTS line or something, they need to add additional call paths. You actually have access in management portal to go ahead and manage, see what the capacity is currently running throughout the system. If you need to add, the trunks to be added in real time as well. So scalability, extremely easy when it comes to our SIP trunking side through the management portal. Business continuity and NUSO Flex, right? So the automatic failover, not only on the network side, but we've also got failover options that if your PBX goes down, the system will automatically trigger forwarding options that you already have preset in the system. We can do forwarding on the trunk level. We can also do forwarding on the DID level. And then it could be constant forwarding, or again, just based on the disaster side of things. Along with that, we have the NUSO Flex network on there. So again, your inbound calls are covered in case of some type of service impairment. Cloud applications. So again, since we're talking about SIP, they're going into a PBX somewhere. It could be an outdated PBX. They don't want to change yet. They're having a good time with the SIP trunking. Everything is running well. But what we were able to do, we built around the SIP trunking platform, cloud auto attendants and cloud voicemails. Okay. Again, if the system were to go down, power outage, you can actually have those calls automatically fail over into the cloud auto attendants as well as voicemails. And then from the auto attendants, you can build out hunt groups or anything else you need to, forwarding calls to cell phones or any available line that's up, you can actually send that. So again, some nice redundancy side on the cloud application side for your customers as well. Global coverage. So we are a global service provider. So we can provide you with phone numbers as well as connectivity pretty much anywhere in the world. Actually, we'll get about 70%. There's some places where we're not allowed to provide services.
It's true.
Yeah, and phone numbers, they just won't give them.
Real.
They just won't give them. E911 support. So we are Carrie's Law as well as Raybom certified. I guess we'll use that word for it. And with the dynamic location routing, we can get down to the cubicle location if we needed to on there. So again, really important stuff, especially nowadays. Things are a little crazy. You're able to call 911 and actually have that dispatched exactly to where that call originated from in the organization.
Yeah, you need those geotags to be compliant. It's a big deal.
Yep. Compliant. That's the word I'm looking for. We're going to talk about compliance later on. Thanks, Phil. Thanks for reminding me I was here. Security. So we can do SIP over TLS and SRTP for encrypted signaling and media streams. Just again, if somebody was looking for something a little bit more secure, we're able to do that as well. Bring your own PBX flexibility. So we've interoped with probably every PBX that's out there, everything from Avayas to Mitels to Yaystars, 3CX, Free PBX, you name it. We can go ahead and provide trunking into that. And then lastly, I mentioned it above, but you do have complete control through the NUSO.io portal. So that provides you with full control of your trunks, management, forwarding, even the cloud application side of things, right? So if you needed to add your cloud auto attendants or cloud voicemail on there, you'd be able to manage those directly from there, along with call recording, which we're going to talk about here shortly. This is how the interface looks. So as you see, SIP trunking dashboard, you'll have your SIP settings on there, DID forwarding, trunk forwarding, as well as your recording tab if we were these trunks here. So again, really simple to go ahead and set up and activate. Zoom peering. So we have been a Zoom peering partner for about 18 months or so now. This is a really interesting thing, and I didn't understand it at first. Why is Zoom looking for peering partners like Microsoft Teams does? Well, telecom taxes are not fun. So I'm guessing that's the primary reason why they wanted to do that, wanted to kind of get that load off of them there. Yeah, it's a nightmare, let me tell you. Because it changes by jurisdiction, right? Zip codes, anything changes the taxing on that. So what we are, as part of a peering partner, we're able to provide call paths into Zoom. Okay. So in the case that, and I'll use a good example here because there's really big cost savings on this. Let's say that you have a deployment that is 100 seats on Zoom, but they're coming off of a PRI and they're never going to go over 23 call paths. You're able to sell them Zoom, which Jenny offers, has a bring your own carrier license. Okay, and with that bring your own carrier license, at that point, you're able to go into the management portal of Zoom, select NUSO as your provider. It'll go ahead and spit out an agreement for you on there. and you can select that you just want 23 call paths, right? So you're only paying for those 23. That's going to save about 60% a month for that customer
Yeah, that's big.
on there, which is really big. You also have the ability, though, and this is with any of our products, by the way. So SIP trunking, UCaaS, Recorder, Zoom, you're able to mark up. Okay, so if you have in instances where you're saving somebody $300 or $400 a month, you can mark that up an extra $100. Let's say, for example, right? So you're getting your standard commission on there, but you're getting 100% of the markup as a pass through. So again, really interesting way to do it. I love the call path and not by user model for it because you do see significant savings on there.
Yeah, it's easy to scale and realistic savings when you're coming from a PRI, for example. I mean, those are there considering how much those can cost in comparison. So there's room for the markup, which is
Yep,
great.
absolutely. And as we were talking about the portal before, you do have portal access port on our side too, for any of your number reassignments, or if you needed to add new phone numbers onto the platform, you can order everything directly through the NUSO.io portal. And I'm going to say it again, NUSO Flex is on here, right? So inbound call reliability for disaster recovery and redundancy. It's a big thing and it's important. So
It's huge. There's really not many other providers doing that. That's why we stress on it.
well, there's none. Unless we're
There's
selling
none.
them the service on our
Yeah.
carrier side, they're not doing it. So, and they're charging for it. We're not.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's those fun things there. Operator Connect. So we are part of the Operator Connect program with Microsoft. So if you are doing anything Microsoft Teams based, we are able to provide dial tone for it. We have been working with Microsoft since Skype for Business or Link. Was it, which one came first? I think it was Link, 2009.
I don't know.
So we've been working with in the Microsoft ecosystem for quite some time with them. But now, of course, the new flavor is going to be Operator Connect. So we are a Operator Connect partner with that. What that means is seamless integration with Teams, the same way that you would do the Zoom side of it. You're provisioning everything inside of the Microsoft Teams interface, so you're not having to jump back and forth. So everything is on there. It simplifies the deployment for you as well. So you're provisioning your numbers within our portal, and they will automatically shoot over into your Microsoft Teams environment. You will have NUSO Flex on there as well. So again, you can see 100 other providers in any of these scapes. But if you have NUSO Flex, that's going to be a little bit of a differentiator for that, because again, we can't stress the fact enough. We need those inbound calls coming in at all times. And then lastly, if you're going to go with Operator Connect, cost effectiveness is a key on there, right? So if the customer is wanting to go with Teams and they're dead set on it, well, we can save them quite a bit of money by going with NUSO on there. We've also got a secondary Teams offering, though, which I'll briefly touch on here. And what that is, it's called Platform Connect. So with any of our UCaaS platforms that we have, we've built a Microsoft certified bridge, we can call it, right? For Platform Connect, which is now utilizing our call control on the back end, right? So it's simplifying the call control through our UCaaS platforms, but you're using Microsoft Teams as an endpoint device. Okay, so for example, you'll have the Teams desktop as well as mobile applications, but you're not doing any management inside of Teams. It's a little bit difficult to navigate through Teams at times. So having the NUSO UCaaS on the back end for your call control is great and simple. Now, another pretty key part there, if they're using Platform Connect, which we can send you information on, you're able to still use the standard desk phones that they had, right? So if somebody, you just bought a bunch of T54s from Jenny, right? They want to go with Teams, but they don't want to get new Teams phones. Great, perfect. We go Platform Connect, still use those old phones on our UCaaS platform, or not their old phones, their current phones. So that's another way to work Teams on there. So we can, again, take a deeper dive into that offline as well. All right. So this is fun stuff. I think it is a boring product because it's call recording. There's absolutely nothing fun about it. It is our most visited page on our website. We did an internal webinar not too long ago. It was our highest attended webinar ever with the most engagement ever. I don't get it yet, but we'll let you guys decide. It's got a bunch of fun stuff in it. It is a Microsoft, so there's two portions to this call recording. One portion is a Microsoft Teams recorder, which is a compliant Teams recorder, okay, and certified.
One of the only certified compliance in the world, by the way.
That's correct. Yeah, there's us and two others that are actually certified and compliant on it. And then you can also record just phone calls. You can do on our UCaaS. We can do it on SIP trunking, so we can record calls pretty much on anything. With it, user interface is all going through the NUSO.io portal as well. So that's really your one-stop shop for all that there. But we'll go over a few of the functionality features with it. So we have encryption for the calls. So you're well covered on the encryption side. Full auditing of the call recordings. Okay, so this is it's going to give you a complete audit trail of anything that's happened with that phone call. Okay, so if somebody opened it, if somebody downloaded it, if somebody tried to download it but wasn't authorized, and it'll break it down every single time that there's some type of interaction with that call. It's going to be inside of that call recording. You also have full audit for user activity as well, right? So anything that they're doing within the call recording portal is going to have an audit under that one user. So again, if they were trying to access calls that weren't there, if they tried to change permissions that they didn't have access to, so it does give you quite a bit of auditing that you're able to do there. Hopefully, it's not that necessary, but if we have it on there, it's probably necessary in some cases, right?
If you're someone or if your customers need that audit trail capability, this is huge.
Mm-hmm. We have 2FA login for it. So again, we're needing this to be as secure as possible. So you can do that either through email or phone number on there. And then we are working on just different authenticator options as well for you. Role-based access. So everything down from a user to a super admin, just kind of depending on what the organization is looking for. Transcription with sentiment analysis. Okay, so saves you a bunch of time by going ahead and being able to just review the sentiments and then fully diarize transcriptions of the call on there.
So Anthony, sorry, some people might not know what sentiment analysis really is or what it's actually doing. Could you break that down a bit?
Absolutely. So what sentiment analysis does, it's reviewing that call and it's reviewing it through the transcription, right? So what it's looking for is specific keywords. Also on the audio side, it's looking for changes of tone of voice. So if somebody's happy and laughing, well, that call is probably going to get a pretty good score. If you start to hear, or words like cancel or any type of negative type term on there, now your sentiment's either going to go, because it can be very bad, bad, neutral, good, or very good. So those are the five different sentiments that we have on there. Future releases on that will give you the ability to add your own keywords for your sentiment analysis on there. And then also you can dictate a few more levels of sentiment on there as well. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, that will be cool because they're, like you were saying, if there's a lot of laughing and smile, things like that, you are going to see those smiley faces, which by the way, those 5 indicators from like a quick visual standpoint, you've got 2 levels of smiley faces, a neutral face, and then sad frowny faces. It's so easy to identify these calls.
And sorting them is really easy too, right? So I can sort all very happy calls, right? Or all neutral calls or all bad calls. Go in there, look at the transcription, listen to the call, tag it, send it. Again, permissions based. So if you're able to do that, then you can tag, send, and listen. But yeah, full grouping of calls as well. So it's really interesting. Definitely worth a look. Again, I thought it was a very boring product. It's not. It's getting a lot of activity, which is great.
That word compliance keeps coming up, but if you have to be compliant, you have to be compliant. If you're not, you're going to get fined. I mean, it's going to bite you hard. So I think that's one of the big pieces behind this. It helps companies easily stay compliant. And your customers, again, if they need that, this is going to be incredible.
Yep. Yeah, and again, compliance could be a million different things, right? So if there's any questions on that, just throw them into the chat and we can answer those there. Do not record lists on there, so I can add numbers, users, groups to not be recorded within the system. For example, internally, HR does not get recorded, right? So if anybody calls into HR, either internally or externally, their calls are not being recorded no matter what. I can also put if I was a bank and the number for our wire transfer department, for example. I don't want any of that information being recorded. We can go ahead and just put those numbers or usernames in there. And then I did mention it before, but it has full Teams recording capabilities. Some of the differences on there. So this is actually how the call comes up for it. So with Teams, if you're recording inside of Microsoft Teams, they are actually holding all those recordings for you. In this case, you have the ability to either offload it to your own servers, in our secure servers as well. So it's really kind of dependent. The recorder also works for Zoom too. Okay, so I didn't mention that. In the UAE, we actually do quite a bit of Zoom recording because Zoom holds all of your recordings. Okay, and there's no other way to offload that. In this case, what we've done, and this is through an acquisition that we did of a company called Meta Solutions out of Italy, is how we got involved in the kind of in our own recorder stuff, right? This is nothing that we're reselling. These are our own products and services. So what we're able to do with Zoom is we are able to extract all the recordings from Zoom, wipe them out of their storage, and now that customer has access to their recordings and they can send them wherever they want. In some cases, if somebody wanted to put a thumb drive there, load that up, unplug it, put it back in, that's fine. They could do that. But again, there's a lot of different flavors on the recording side that we can do. And yeah, we would like to talk more about it. I know I threw a lot out there on the call recording side, but just to recap, UCaaS, SIP trunking, Microsoft Teams, as well as Zoom, we're able to record. So large offering there with it.
And this product is deployed on some of the huge companies across the world. They were from big to small to medium. I mean, it really fits wherever the compliance piece is needed, or even just as a simple recording solution that you want voice calls and Teams calls or Zoom calls recorded. So super flexible.
And now my new favorite product that we have.
Oh, yeah.
You've heard me say acquisition quite a bit. That is one of our growth strategies. We grow through acquisition. And we finalized an acquisition in December of last year of a company by the name of T-Metrics. Okay. We acquired them for several reasons. The first reason being we needed a robust omni-channel contact center. That was the main reason. Then there was some really nice things that came alongside with this as well. So if we look here on the security side, our contact center solution is JITC, PCI compliant, TextRamp, StateRamp, and FedRamp compliant on the security side. Okay. That's huge. Again, there's only several players. So in the Fed space, there's two. In the Fed space, there's three. In the state space, there's two that have these certifications on there. So we are able to go in there aggressively. If you do have any RFPs for any state, local, or federal government, we can play in any of those, as well as any business as well, right? But that was just one of the reasons for the acquisition was those security certifications, which are not the easiest to get. But when we're looking at,
if we're compliant with Fed, local government, all that, being able to be compliant with other businesses is usually doable considering their standards are so high. So that was just another big component to it.
Yep. So this is a product though, that's nice because we can layer this on top of essentially anything.
Anything.
We've got full interop with Avaya, Cisco, Metaswitch, Microsoft Teams, NEC phone systems, NetSapiens, our NUSO platform. So any of the flavors that we have on there. Um, Direct integrations into Ribbon SBCs, Ring Central, SkySwitch, as well as Zoom on there. So, and we've got documentation on all that stuff, right? So if you're looking to put something into an Avaya system, great. We've got the documentation on how to go ahead and connect it into it there. Again, on the security side, JITC, PCI, TextRAMP, StateRAMP, FedRAMP. How can you consume it though? So out of all of the other competitors that are out there on the call center, on the contact center side, we are the only ones that can deploy the same exact solution either on-prem or in the cloud. Okay. Generally, their on-prem solution is going to be different than their cloud solution. We're able to deploy the same exact instances to them. So that helps on the hybrid cloud side. If they were going to go fully on-prem, of course. We have private cloud, public cloud, which that's generally where we'll play in this space, unless you're needing something in FedRAMP or StateRAMP cloud for the consumption just based on the customer there.
Only one.
Third,
Only one.
yeah, well, it is. And it's, at first I was like, well, okay, cool. And then, I started talking to more people about it and they're like, no, that's pretty important.
Yeah.
Especially when you're
There's a
looking
big
in
world out
government,
there.
they still want a lot of stuff on-prem and they don't want to either, short features or something that hasn't been updated. So again, the same exact solution both ways with it. The third-party integrations that fuel some of our reporting, analytics, recording as well, and IVRs and bots all go through these third-party integrations. We are a company that likes to build our own products. Let's say, for example, in some cases, you just have to partner with somebody else, just because when we're starting to look at things like Google Dialogflow, and this is what we use for our bots and different other AI functionality out of there, if we were to build that on our own, by the time we're done with one, we're 6 months late already, right? So let the giants deal with that stuff. And also, we needed to pick partners on these integrations that worked with the FedRAMP cloud as well as StateRAMP cloud. So they also had to be compliant in those sides. So Google Dialogflow, integrations into Salesforce, of course, Oracle, SAP, ServiceNow, and then for our workforce management and workforce optimization, we use Calabrio. Okay, so that's just for assistance with scheduling and stuff like that within the call center platform there. Now, I mentioned a lot of stuff about compliance and certifications. This can still fit a regular SMB or SME type customer as well. So I don't want to, that's kind of the fear, right? When you're starting to talk, we can do federal, we can do state. You're already thinking, oh, this is going to be outpriced for my customer. It's not, because really the price increase starts coming in where we're doing things, right? So in either FedRAMP cloud, StateRAMP, but we're making this extremely consumable for the SMB market while giving them the omni-channel functionality that people are looking for now, right? I read an article the other day. Everybody is a contact center agent now, right? So every business is handling something like a contact center, either being text message queuing or just, more detailed IVRs or database dips, stuff like that. So it's really starting to come in, and we're starting to see a lot of excitement on the product. Again, this gave us functionality that we didn't have before. So it's a very exciting product offering to have there. And that is pretty much it for the presentation. Again, I would love to take some time and do deep dives into each of the products or any of the products that anybody has interest in going into, and also kind of seeing if anybody's quoting out Zoom. Let's see how our peering partnership with them can actually save your customer money and maybe even make you a little bit more money on there. So we'd love to run through quotes with that stuff if you guys have, as well as SIP trunking, right? We're extremely competitive on the pricing there. So we'd love the opportunity to go ahead and get in front of some customers with our pricing as well as the other stuff that we have along with the SIP trunking to kind of enhance the customer experience with it. And that's it for me.
Yeah. Do we have any questions?
We did have a question come in when we were talking about E911. And
Okay.
the question is, how do you identify user location?
So based on a phone number, okay, we actually have, so there's two ways. If the PBX can do geolocation, we can do that from directly where the call is coming from. If it's an older PBX or a UCaaS, what we're able to do is on the DID for that phone, or even on the extension number. Again, it's depending on the PBX. On the DID, we can control all of it. I'm able to put 123 Main Street, second floor, third door on the right. I have a full text field that I can put in for each one of those phone numbers on there. So when you do call 911, whoever internally will get different types of alerts letting them know that somebody called 911, giving them the description or the location. And then once that calls out to 911, even if they don't say anything, that header actually went along with that call. So it'll know, again, 123 Main Street, second floor, third door on the right, third cubicle, back row. And you can get that granular, which is, I think, just lovely because it's so needed.
Yep. Yeah. And it's super easy. Either way that you do it, it's very easy to do it.
Yep. Any other questions?
If anyone does have a question, just remember to navigate to that Q&A icon that you see on your screen and type it in there. We'll give it a couple more minutes. Any final thoughts? I'll just also wrap up by again thanking everyone for joining us today. And thank you, Anthony and Phil, for definitely sharing your knowledge with us today. I think we've heard a lot of really great information. And we will be following up with our registrants with content from today's presentation for future use and reference. And any final thoughts?
And we do have folks from NUSO at the Jenny offices today. So if you call in, hey, you might be able to speak to a famous person from NUSO today. So, but yeah, no, they're there to answer any questions, any quick questions that could be answered. They're there on site today. So again, if you have anything, just give your account reps a call, and there'll be somebody swinging around there. So
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it and hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day. And we'll be hearing from you more soon. Thanks so
awesome.
much.
Thank you all. Bye bye.
Bye
Take
all.
care. Bye-bye.
Thanks.